Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited to share just one of my favorite things to make, and also just like a three-part, not a three-part, but more like a series I want to start doing about vegan cooking. So right now I am sauteing hot Italian sausage by Beyond Burger. I want to show people how easy it is. So many times people ask me, what do you eat? Or they feel like being vegan is complicated and they have to start doing X, Y, Z. And my favorite things to eat are things that are simple, easy to make. I'm big on being frugal. So I love using up all ingredients. I try not to toss anything unless it's going bad. And so this is a really simple way to use up all the leftover veggies in your fridge. Or if you did a meal prep and you just have prep stuff sitting around, this is a great way to use it up. And then now I'm moving on to the actual what is it called, the flour, the pastry flour. Well, not pastry flour, but the flour, the base of the galette. And now I'm adding in butter, and I like to put a lot of butter. I didn't say this was the healthiest recipe, but I do love my butter, and this is homemade butter. I always make my own butter. It's very, very easy. Let me know if you guys want to see that. I mix it in there really well. People say until it looks like lentils. I just try to make sure it's evenly distributed. Then I added water just until it formed a ball. It was a little bit wet, but it was fine. That was fine with me. Wrapped it in some plastic, and now I'm moving on to vegetable prep. Dicing some onions here. I am breaking apart dried shiitake mushrooms that I have on hand. And you see that I'm pouring some hot water over it. I'm gonna let that sit while I go get some work done. I'll be back. And then I get back to my stove. I use the oil, the drippings from the sausage, as well as some extra added olive oil. Throw in my onions, let that saute for just a little bit. I don't want them to become translucent. Then I throw in leftover bell peppers that literally have been sitting in my fridge for so long they have freezer burn smell. And then I actually switch over to a new pan eventually. But here you'll see that I have potatoes. Believe it or not, those are sliced potatoes. I used a carrot peeler to grate them, and they got brown in the fridge. And it's so strange because I have another set of potatoes that have stayed the same color. So I'm mixing them there. I threw in some spinach, leftover spinach. I had some kale too, but I told myself not to do too much. Now I'm adding all my seasonings. You see garlic, you see onion powder, paprika, black pepper, and then I put in this mushroom seasoning that I absolutely love. My mother introduced me to, and it's vegan or vegetarian, and it just makes everything so good. It adds that savory, that umami that people love. And I salt it as well, just to make sure that all the flavors are really good. And yeah, I just let that sit because I want the water to dry out of it so that it's not going to be too wet when it goes into the actual flour. I add the sausage as a final step. I'm not sure if I shared the full ingredient list, I'm sorry, for this flour that I made. So I said 1 cup flour, 3/4 cup oat flour. It's supposed to be 6 tablespoons of butter, but I don't measure. And then 1/4 cup of ice cold water from the fridge. Again, I didn't measure, I eyeballed it. I also added to the flour 1/4 teaspoon of salt, as well as 2.5 teaspoons of date sugar. I wanted the crust to be a little bit sweet because I find that contrast between the saltiness of the ingredients and the sweetness of the crust to just be a really great balance. So I'm kind of pressing it out with my hands with the plastic film over it, and then I'm gonna bring in my makeshift roller. I'm currently shopping for a real rolling pin. I've been exploring the French rolling pin. It doesn't have the dowels attached to the end. Some of them just look like a round stick, and others have tapered ends. I'm just rolling that out to the same circumference as the pan. Now I'm folding it in. By now the flour is reaching room temperature, so I have to work quickly because the butters are melting. And actually here it's recommended that you can pop the galette back into the fridge for 10 minutes, but I did not do that. I forgot also too late that it's supposed to be baking on top of parchment. So you see me here trying to lift up the dough, but it's just so fragile and wet now that I just let it go. Later on, as it was baking, I went back into the oven when the dough has solidified a bit, and I slid it out. I actually broke a little section. I put a crack in it. And I slid the parchment over it, and then I continued the baking process. So as you can see here, here's that crack. I'm just gonna give you guys like a slow-mo of how it looks. The sausages look so good. The potatoes are layered in there, the bell peppers. There's even a spot right there where you can see the mushroom. It just looks so good, and there's a little liquid in there too, which is great. Now here's where I'm struggling to slice it. I may have overbaked the dough. When I tried, the dough is very flavorful, but it's only supposed to bake for 30 minutes. I think I left it in longer. But yeah, so you can just bake that. I cut it, and now I just have some up close photos for you guys. And this is just what makes such a great dinner. Maybe you can accompany with a little salad, and it's literally just everything sitting around. There are so many recipes online for a galette. You can do asparagus. I had some peas that I almost threw in there, but I was like, let me calm down. You can throw in cheese and just sausage. You can make a breakfast one and throw an egg in there and like have it bake in the oven. The options are endless, and that's what I love. I'm just that type of cook that I like to use up everything I have on hand. You can also, instead of veggies, you can also substitute summer fruit or whatever fruit you have on hand. The most popular galettes are usually peach. I've seen nectarine, no, not nectarines. I've seen berries, like a berry galette. So I hope you enjoy, and if you go ahead and you make this, please let me know. I would love to know how it turned out for you. All right, you guys, until next time, I will see you.